Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing a mystery novel with you every 15 minutes by Lisa Scottoline. I love mysteries, I love problem solving, so I wanted to pick up a mystery book. I haven't read one for a while. I've been reading a lot of YA stuff, and so I just kind of had an itch for a mystery. So this is the one I picked up. I've never read any of her books. She does have a lot of mystery novels out there. And she's a very prominent person in the mystery world. A lot of awards and just accolades. So if you're interested in finding a mystery author, she might be one that you look into. So for my video today, we are going to be reviewing this for the first half and then discussing it in the second half. So if you haven't read the book and you're interested in reading, you can listen to the review portion of it and then we'll get into the discussion. If you aren't going to read it but you still want to listen to the discussion, feel free to stay and you can listen to how it turned out. Okay, so this is a story about Dr. Eric Parrish, who is a psychiatrist. He has his own practice at home, and then he is also the chief of psychiatry at the hospital that he works at. There is also Max, who turns out to be one of Dr. Parrish's clients. He is a teenage boy whose grandmother is passing away and dying from cancer. So you got his story trying to cope with his grandma's death and also his own personal things that he is dealing with psychologically. And then you have the mystery sociopath, whoever they are. So you spend the whole book trying to figure out who the sociopath is. So there's three components to the story. And then you kind of got back history of everybody. Like Dr. Parrish is going through a divorce. You've got Max's personal things with his grandma, and then some psychological things that he's trying to deal with. Some dark thoughts that he has, and then you have the sociopath who's clearly targeting Dr. Parrish and trying to figure out who they are and why they're doing it in the first place. So that's kind of the main gist of the story. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. The reason why I'm getting it 4 is because I felt like there could have been more of the sociopath in the story and less talk about the divorce. There seemed to be a lot of conversation about the divorce and going through the divorce and him arguing and fighting with his ex-wife, and he has a little girl named Hannah, so then she's kind of getting stuck in the middle of these two and their divorce situation. And so I get that that's happening. It just seemed like there was a lot of talk about that, and there really wasn't a whole lot of talk about the sociopath, which to me, I would have loved to see like 50% of this book be about the sociopath. So that's why I'm not giving it a full 5 stars, just a 4 out of 5. So I will still try to read another one of her books because she does have so many, and maybe this one didn't speak to me as much as maybe a different one would. Sometimes that happens with an author. You'll read one of their books and you love it, and then you'll pick a different one up and you're like, yeah, I don't like that one so much. So that could just be what this is. It just may not have spoken to me as much as maybe a different one of her books will. So we'll go ahead and get onto the discussion of the book and get into the details. So if you don't want to listen to it and you want to go read the book for yourself, this is where you're going to exit stage left, and come back later for the discussion. So as I said, I did not like that there was so much discussion about the divorce. I don't care. It's fine. Like, I understand that's a part of his character, but it seemed like there was so much of it. The fighting of it, and going over to the house, and her ex, and her new boyfriend, and what's going on with Hannah, and oh, I gave you this house, and there just seemed like too much about that. I didn't care so much about that. It's fine if we knew that was going on, but I didn't think there needed to be too many conversations about it. This book almost seemed like it could have just been a story about Dr. Parrish and Max, because almost a big ginormous portion of the book is just his relationship with Max, trying to help Max. Max comes in for his appointment with the doctor and tells him he has OCD and I need drugs for it and it's driving me crazy and I'm getting worse. Max taps his forehead or his temple every 15 minutes. That's where the title of the book came from. And then he has to list off a slew of colors, and he has to do it every 15 minutes constantly. It's consumed his life. He can't function. He can't interact with people normally because he has to do it every 15 minutes, and that's quite a bit. That's a lot in a day. So someone would notice. He tries to be very, very discreet about it when he's in public, but it makes him have to be a loner. He doesn't make friends at school. He doesn't be around people because he doesn't want anyone to notice that he's doing this. So he goes to Dr. Parrish with the intent of discussing his grandma, and then he reveals this, OCD thing that he has going on. He also talks to him about Renee, a girl that he really likes and is kind of in love with. He says he follows her, he stalks her a little bit. He doesn't say stalk, he just says he follows her because he's so concerned about her safety. He's so worried that something bad's gonna happen to her. So he, he follows her to work. He just keeps tabs on her way more than would be normal person. And then he told him he fantasizes and thinks about choking her and killing her by choking her. And so he's got some dark, dark thoughts, this kid does. So I can understand why he's becoming so desperate. He loves his grandma and he is so stressed about her not eating and not drinking and afraid of her dying. And he does have a mom, but she's very absentee. She's a drunk. She does drugs. She just uses them for money. So Max really had to step up and be the parent and take care of his grandma. So losing her is like losing his parent because his mom is just unable to fulfill that role. So we got that portion of it, which was a big portion of Max and Dr. Parrish. Dr. Parrish really takes an interest in Max. He feels very connected to him. He really, really wants to help him. When Max's grandma dies, he says he's gonna, end his life. He wants to kill himself. And then the rest of the book is about Dr. Parrish trying to find Max. Where is he? Did he kill himself? He's trying to get the police involved. They're really not cooperating or helping so much. They don't seem to think it's, I don't know what they think, but they're really not going out of their way. He's going everywhere. Dr. Parrish follows Renee home to see if maybe that's what Max is going to do, that he's really going to kick in and try to save her because he lost his grandma. He doesn't have finding her. Then Dr. Parrish gets arrested for Renee ends up dying. They end up finding her dead. Dr. Parrish was spotted following her. The police catch him on video cameras and stuff. So now he gets pulled in and questioned and basically a suspect now for the murder of Renee. He can't find Max. He won't divulge his conversations with Max about him wanting to strangle her. And so there's a huge portion of the book that's about that whole situation, that whole story. Max getting accused and they can't find him, and then Dr. Parrish is being accused as well, and so there's just a huge portion of the book about this. Then Max they find him, he's out at a mall, he's gonna blow everybody up, he's got hostages, so he went way off the deep end. Dr. Parrish saves him. And then the sociopath doesn't really come in a lot, and that's where I'm like, where's the sociopath? Like, I get the stuff with Max, but I really wanted more of the sociopath in the story, and they weren't. They wrote a few chapters, and then that was kind of it. I think the author is trying to steer you who she wants you to think is a sociopath. She wants you to think Christine is a sociopath, who is one of Dr. Parrish's residents. She's way in love with him. She tries to kiss him. No, she don't try. She kisses him. She texts him. She wears like really cute clothes, and she is a pretty girl, but he's just not interested. He has too much going on, and she's just not someone he's interested in right now. So because he won't take the bait, she then accuses him of sexual harassment and that he's the one that made advances on her. He's the one that kissed her. And so the author's really trying to make you think that Christine's the sociopath, which she is behaving rather bizarrely, I will admit, but she's too obvious. She is the obvious pick, and it's never the obvious person, so it's not her. I think the author also tries to make you think it's Max, but Max is way too emotional about his grandmother and has too much of an emotional connection with her and cares so much about her that that's not a sociopath characteristic. And so I don't see it being Max. He's just a disturbed kid who needs help. I did start to think it was Laurie because she pops in and out so much, and she's really into Dr. Parrish. They're good friends. She's known him since college. They went to medical school together. She's a very smart lady. She is also the chief over the ER unit, and so I really started to think it was her, because she just kind of kept coming in and out, but they try to make her seem like a friendly person, like, oh, she's just my friend. And her brother ends up being the doctor's lawyer, and so he always was dropping hints about how she likes him and she's always had a crush on him, and she talks about him all the time. So I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, she would be the one I would pick. So I picked her. But then Sam comes into the picture, who is also one of Dr. Parrish's people on one of his staff members, actually like his right-hand man. He would be next in line for chief. He comes in, and all of a sudden, you find out he's the one that kills Renee. He tries to set the hospital on fire. I mean, he's the one doing all this. He tries to kill Dr. Parrish. He was manipulating another patient to cause him to get into trouble. So I was kind of like, whoa, what? Sam? I didn't pick that. She really made you think it was Sam. And then at the very end, he goes over to Laurie's house to eat dinner and finds Renee's necklace in Laurie's trash can. So now it's kind of like the light bulbs are all clicking on, and he was like, oh my gosh, she's actually the killer. She may not have killed her, but she's manipulated the whole situation with Sam. She really brainwashed him to do all of these things for her, because it's a game. It's a sociopath game, and so I found the sociopath portion far more interesting than any of the rest of it. So I really, really wish there was more of that in it, and less of the divorce, and less of maybe Max so much, and maybe more of this. More of the sociopath coming in and taking over and plotting, and more backstory to the sociopath, and more chapters written by the sociopath. That's the whole reason I picked up the book, was because there was a sociopath in there, and I was interested in seeing how that was going to play out. So there's my discussion on this book. There's a lot more details and stuff, so feel free to go and read it if you are interested. Now that I just gave everything away, you probably won't want to, but maybe you will. Maybe it'll be like, maybe I'll form my own opinion. Again, this is just my opinion on the book. You may find out and read it and be like, I loved it. You don't know what you're talking about. So let me know if you have a favorite mystery novel that you love reading, or that you think I would enjoy reading. Please list it in the comments below so I can add it to my book list of to-reads. I love finding new books and new options, and there's a lot of mystery books out there, a ton, and so I would be interested to see what you guys like and what you would recommend for a mystery read. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can keep getting more of my videos and what I'm doing. So have a wonderful, beautiful day, and I will be seeing you soon. Bye.